Hey everybody. Um it's been a minute. It's been a long time. Um but I feel like I have more time on my hands now to do this. I had time on my hands then to make another video, but I really truly do have more time on my hands, a little bit more than what I need to make another video. But this video really is just about it's just about kind of like more of my testimony that I really should have gave like a long time ago about what God did for me. And to also help people who is probably confused, going through stuff, or don't know what they're getting into and why. God, why. It's really is truly good to have God and Jesus for real. Because you'll get sucked up into that stuff, and then it'll bring stuff in your life that you don't want, and then you have Jesus, and then Jesus he comes and he comes in like a flood of love where you don't really need any of that stuff. All you really truly need is just him. So this is kind of me telling him thank you for revealing that stuff to me, but also for taking it out of my life and honestly, I don't even have a desire for any of that stuff either. I really don't. But so back to this. I'm sorry, my mind. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. But so in my last testimony I had made probably like a year ago, I was telling you guys about my testimony of idolatry and how idolatry can really bring in a lot of other stuff. More so, idolatry it really just turns you away from God, and either you can be your own idol or somebody else can be your idol. And when that happens, just be aware that your life is really not going to be great. This goes for a Christian, and this also goes for worldly people. Before I was a Christian, or became a Christian and dedicated and chose to dedicate my life to God, even in the world, me making somebody an idol in my life, I realized that it really did make my life more chaotic, because idols cannot give you exactly what you need and want from God, or want in within yourself or anything. It cannot do it, but God can. So that's why we choose to give our lives to him. And that's why it's really the best decision that you can make. It's not always the easiest decision. It's not always the funnest decision. It's not, but I'm gonna tell you, it is worth it, and it can be more fun. It depends on you as a person and kind of how you can make it fun, for real. But yeah, but what I'm trying to say in this video is about zodiac signs, and kind of how I feel like I left that part out with stuff. But so zodiac signs and angel numbers and all that stuff like that, right? So these are things that God had rescued me from and delivered me from. And I ain't gonna lie, even in my Christian life, the closer I got to God, that stuff definitely tried to come back to me. But I was so locked into him, and I was like, devil, please, you're lying. Like, I don't, and I literally looked at it, and then whatever, and I started reading Ephesians and Hebrews, because it used some numbers. So I know God can also use numbers too, but he's not really a numbering type of God. God will speak to you through your pastor. He'll speak to you in the word if you just read it. So you don't really have to depend on numbers from God. You really don't. And I'm glad I don't, because honestly, I think about that now and I'm like, that was stupid. That was really stupid. But zodiac signs, so that stuff is all in astrology. And that's something that I did get caught up in because I've believed in it at one point in my life. I really thought that, okay, I believed in the universe crap. I really thought that was real or legit, and it's false. It's all false. Yeah, it's not real. It's not real. It's false stuff to just keep you in a loop, really, and believing in something that's just not real. To keep you away from God and the truth. But I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys is that I'm gonna be real, y'all. I really didn't do too much research into astrology. I just used to believe that I was this thing called a Sagittarius. I used to believe in that crap. And then I used to believe that my spouse was this other type of thing. But all it does is, when you believe in that stuff, all it does is open up a door to demons and open up a door to the devil to have a stronghold on you, and to really just have a stronghold on you and your mind, because none of that stuff really is true, and it does not matter about a sign, and honestly, none of that stuff is in the Bible. So when you read the word and you read the Bible, you'll see that it's just not true, because it's not in the Bible. And honestly, all of them say some of the similar stuff anyway, because it's man-made. It's not made by God. God doesn't do that. God don't really have favorites, and God is not. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Birthdays are not even a big deal in the Bible. It's the only thing that's really truly a big deal in the Bible to God, if you want me to be honest, is his son Jesus setting us free from sin, and then God's church bride doing the Great Commission. I'm honestly being real. That's literally the biggest deal. Birthdays and all that stuff like that, it's just not really that important. Not saying that God don't want you to celebrate your birthday. Yeah, you can. But I'm saying, like, stuff like that, it's just not big to God. And honestly, when you do become a Christian, it's not going to be that deep to you. It's some people I know who will scream, it's my birthday, it's my birthday, it's my birthday, for about like a week. But that's because they just want attention, and also because it's about them. But when you fall in love with God and you fall in love with what he loves, and you really see that what he loves is way much better than what you love, because what you love is like literally like this, while what he loves is like this. It's like, then your eyes will open up, and you'll be thankful for your birthday, but you'll be like, okay, it's just a birthday. But all of that stuff is just not in the word at all. It's not true. It's not real. And I feel like I failed to mention this to you guys like months ago, how God delivered me from that as well. That he delivered me from stuff like that. And honestly, when he did, I had no desire to turn back or to look back at it. And I still don't, because I know that it's not true, and I know that all it does is it's going to open up a door and a portal, and I don't need doors or portals open that I chose to have closed, to close. I don't need that. What else am I trying to make sure I'm not missing nothing, because I do know that God is good and he's a faithful God. The church that I go to, we see miracles all the time. We see God performing miracles through us, through people. And that's what it really keep you. That is, I ain't gonna lie, that is something that's beautiful. And many people don't see it that way, or they'll see it in a negative way. But honestly, it's a beautiful thing, because you really do get to see God work in action, and he works through you. And He can only work through you, though, if you're really living right and doing right. He ain't gonna work through you if you're not doing right or living right. He can't. But he wants to. And that's just what you can hold on to and make something out of it or not. But yes, so what I was saying is that zodiac signs and stuff like that, it's all false. They all say about the same thing about one another, and all it does is just open up doors and portals to demons that come into your life to torment you in your mind, and to also turn you away from God, and to turn you to yourself, and to make you believe in yourself and that you know everything when really you don't. This is a lesson I feel God is still trying to teach me to this day. Because even though you may be a smart or wise person, you still gonna have your faults, and you still gonna have your issues and your problems, and you still gonna mess up. But the problem with that is that you have to realize that he's the only one that can't mess up. And that's more of a reason why you should want to engage in a relationship with somebody or someone like that, which is the Heavenly Father, because he never fails. If you want that perfect somebody in your life, if you want that perfect love in your life, dedicate your life to God and be faithful to him. And when we say faithful, like, think of him as your husband. And when you read his word, fall in love with what he say, and think of him as being your husband who you are waiting to see. And the Song of Songs is a wonderful, wonderful example of us and God, or us and Jesus. It really is. But also too, like, don't think of it as, okay, you're doing all this giving, and you're not getting anything back. No, you actually will, because he's watching. But I just wanted to point out how God did deliver me from astrology and zodiac signs and stuff like that. The main popular zodiac signs I know that can get people is the 333, the 1111, the 444. Those are the ones I know that can really get people and trap them and make them believe in that crap, which is not real. And I mean, sometimes, like, I don't see it as much now, but I did start to see it a lot when I definitely was strong, like, very new Christian baby. I'm sorry, but a Christian, and I had just became one. I did see those numbers a lot, and I got aggravated, and I started, declaring war in the spirit against the enemy, letting him know, like, you cannot have me, you will not have me. And also too, I'm just not interested in that. Like, I'm on to bigger and better things, and that's with the Lord. So I'm sorry, y'all, but yeah, like, he delivered me from that. And maybe some of y'all out here dealing with a stronghold in that, because y'all strongly believe in it. If you are, and you are looking for deliverance, or if you're looking for God to break a stronghold in your life, if you're a person and you're not really trying to get right with God, for your safety, because I do know that if you do get deliverance and you're not really trying to live right, those things that you got delivered from will come back to you 7 times worse. But get some type of healing, or try to wean yourself off of that. But honestly, if you go to church and you want to get delivered from it, get delivered from it. If you want to break it, fast and ask God to help you fast and break it, and he will, because that fasting also attracts God, because that's you trying to draw closer to him. And you choosing to let go of something that you love, that you do love. Like, some people fast food. I'll never forget where God had asked me to fast, and I was like, I don't want to. And he was like, Talia, fast. And I'm like, because I knew he wanted me to fast food. And I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I don't feel like fasting no food. But then I said, man, that's all the more reason to fast. And it benefited me a lot, and it did break a stronghold. It broke, I think it was like a laziness stronghold that broke off of me. So, I mean, listen here. It did. But I don't know, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get off track, you guys. I don't really have much to say about the astrology besides that God did deliver me from it. And he removed it from even my, like, I don't have a desire for that stuff. I don't have a desire for any of that crap. He really, truly did deliver me, and he set me free from it. I used to rely on that stuff, though, and that's how I know God is real, because I used to rely on it all the time. I used to rely on that stuff, trying to get my way. And however, when you are entering into a relationship with God, you letting your way and yourself go in that sense, and honestly, it's all about him. And that's what changes your heart. That's what changes you as a person. And then that's when you start to see, you know, life really isn't all about me. This is something I'm still going through, guys. So I'm not all the way there yet or perfect. But what I'm trying to say here is this. I ain't gonna get all into it either, because God's still working on me. But what I'm trying to say here is that that astrology stuff and all of that, it's just all about you and what you can have and what you can do, and who you can gain and get. It'll give you what you want, but it definitely won't give you what you need. So you'll enjoy it for a little while, and then after that you'll end up hating it. You'll end up wishing that you never did what you did, because that's honestly how I felt before God delivered me. I really did. And what was funny was how I did mess with that stuff, but I still always went back to God and I prayed to him anyway. And so really, I was mixing myself up. I ain't gonna lie, I was mixing myself up bad. Didn't really realize what I was doing, because I'm praying to God. Did I go? And I wasn't in church. I used to go to church as a little girl before I actually chose to give my life to God myself. But it was church, was a little bit of church was still in me, I guess. But I just really, I prayed to God because I depended on him, because I felt that he was a friend, and he was somebody I could trust, and he was somebody that I knew wasn't gonna tell everybody my business or tell everything that I needed. I knew, because I don't know, I just depended on him. I did. And honestly, depending on him is what saved my life. It got me out of something that I could have still been stuck in to this day. And it could have been worse for me. But letting that stuff go, guys, it's worth it. You don't really have to depend on that stuff. And to know that I don't have to depend on oh, sorry y'all, but knowing that I don't have to depend on anything but that one thing, and that's God himself, it kind of sets you free a little. It sets you free. Because when you think about it, when you don't have God, you depend on this to make you happy. You depend on that. You depend on this. You depend on that. You depend on this. You depend on that. You depend on this. You depend on that. But when you got just him, you don't have to depend on all this stupid stuff that's in your hand. Ugh. You depend on something that's eternal. I feel like I'm preaching to myself a little bit too. But yes, like I said, I don't have a desire for any of that stuff. It just doesn't sit with me. I don't need it. And you don't either. It's a lie anyway. But I'm trying to make sure y'all not leaving nothing off. I'm trying to make sure. I don't really think I am. Trying to make sure y'all not leaving nothing off, because I don't think I am. No. So I ain't leaving nothing off. But yes, the Lord, he will deliver you and set you free. So if this is for anybody who is like, okay, I done got myself into some deep stuff and I don't think I can get out. Well, you can't get out by yourself, but if you call on the name of the Lord, he will rescue you and set you free. That saying is so true because he did that for me. He hears us. He hears his people. He hears people. He's not a mean God, or he's not an unfaithful God either. He loves. Boy, do he heal. And does he truly set you free? But not only that, he empowers you. And that empowerment is the love that you feel of being saved by your Savior or your superhero. I'm trying to think. Let me see. Yes. Yep, and that's all I have, guys. It's just I really wanted to give God his credit, I feel. And just let you guys know like how God did deliver me from that astrology. Astrology is a part of witchcraft. So if any of you wondering, yes, it is. It's a part of witchcraft because you're being your own God and you're choosing to look into something that's not real, to determine your future. And that's just all just witchy stuff. Because we don't know our future. That's why we do have him. Those tendencies can come up, I'm not gonna lie. But we have to put them in check. And a lot of that can happen, y'all, through fasting, because our flesh hates us. And honestly, it's like whatever you pick up and you do in this world, the spirit in you is new and cleansed, and it don't know anything about what you've done. Literally, it doesn't. But your flesh will definitely remind you. Your flesh will rise up. It's like it picks up everything and it'll keep it on it. Like, I feel like for instance, if our flesh was this, if we was to examine our flesh under like a UV light or something, it'll be so dirty because it collects everything. It's like a vacuum cleaner and it never stops collecting it and it doesn't go away. But then on the inside, you see a new spirit, and that spirit is the Holy Spirit, really. And he's resting within you, and he's cleansing you, and then he's helping you to keep that flesh under control, to where you're not living in the flesh or walking in the flesh, but you're walking in his spirit, to where that tendency may come up, but it doesn't even faze you. And that's how you do want to be. But that's about it, y'all. I just really wanted to just give God his credit. Also, too, like I said, I just wanted to help anybody who is struggling with this and thinking that astrology is real, or somebody like, okay, I feel like this astrology. Yes, yoga is demonic. It's not of God. It invites demons in. Many people say, well, how is yoga demonic? It is demonic because what you're doing, the practice that you're doing. And honestly, I know somebody, or I don't know them, I'm sorry, but I've heard of somebody who said that one girl I read about, because I was interested in it, because once I got born again, I was like, man, something is not right about yoga. And God revealed to me that, yeah, you're right, ain't nothing right about yoga. I never did yoga, never got into it. I never really wanted to do yoga because I never believed in it. I felt that it was like a knockoff of the real thing, and the real thing is God. I did, even before I got saved. I'm sorry, I'm not saved yet, but even before I got born again, I knew something about yoga just wasn't right. It didn't look right to me. It looked weird. It looked awkward. It looked like it was just more work. And it looked like it was a knockoff brand of me actually praying to God about my problems and giving my problems to him. So yeah, I'm trying to think, guys. Make sure I ain't missing nothing, y'all. 1 second. Yeah, I think that's about it. I keep saying that, and then I keep coming up with more stuff to say. It's funny. But yes, yoga itself, I don't know if yoga is necessarily witchcraft. I mean, you are trying to alter your mind. And if you're altering your mind on your own and not through the word and not through God, and remembering scriptures and verses, or just honestly just how good God, I feel like that is witchcraft, but I don't know for sure. I didn't really do no deep research into it. But yes, if anybody's wondering if yoga is like a door opener to the enemy, it is. Oh yeah, and I looked at this one comment because God told me to go do deeper research about the yoga crap. And I did. And when I did, one girl said that she was doing yoga one time in her room, and then she opened her eyes and saw a demon with 6 arms sitting in front of her. So I was like, well, that answered my question right there. Yeah. That answered my question right there. So, yes, y'all. You cannot it's false. It's all fake. Like I said, I never did yoga. I never really got into it. Like I said, I just didn't believe in it. I always felt like it was a knockoff of the real deal, and that's God. Buddha, I never believed in that crap. I just feel like it was a knockoff of the real deal. And I know some people have their own religions, but a true God doesn't die. If the Lord was dead, how would I be able to be where I am with God? Or how would I be able to be saved by him? So that's all I'm going to say. But yes, so astrology, and God delivered me from that. Best thing he could have ever done. Because you don't need it. All you really do need is him. I'll see y'all next time.